Good morning, America. It is November 3rd, 2020, Election Day for United States citizens. Well, boys, we're here. Today's the day. Although the election will not be decided today, a few states will be decided today. Texas, I think South Carolina, and West Virginia, maybe? Some pretty big states. And usually, depending on who wins those states, you can get a pretty good idea who's going to win the election. So, this is going to be a big day. I don't know about you. Um, our country is fucked. There's no other way to say it. Eli is not on the show today. Eli is staying safe, quarantining because in Erie County there's been kind of a spike in cases right now. Shout out to Eli. Hope you're doing well. Stay safe, my brother. Um, the revolution is almost upon us. What will you be doing during that time? I know that I will be fighting as an American citizen, as it is my God given right to defend tyranny. But what will you be doing? These are questions that we seriously need to ponder now, as we're there. Today's the day. I should say, if you have not voted already, get out and vote. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't complain about our country and then be like, oh, well, I didn't vote because I felt that things that could have been better. My candidate wasn't chosen. Bro, no one wants Biden. No one wanted Biden. You settle with Biden, or you vote JoJo. You know, if you want a third-party candidate, vote Joe Jorgensen. You know, you could do that, but no. Or there is that other thing called a write-in option. But hey, you know, complain like the little baby you are. Wah, wah, wah. Because what is complaining gotten us for 4 years now? Every day our president has complained. And I'm tired of it. Are you tired of it? If Donald Trump wins, we got another 4 years of this boy. I guess that means another 4 years of my channel running fast and furious. Woo! I don't want that. I really don't. I don't think you want that either. I want peace, quiet, and true democracy. And I want America to see that both parties are the problem. That's why I want Biden to win. If Biden wins, I get my way. America sees that Biden is also the problem, and then we can do true progress. True American democratic process. And by God, it will be glorious. If Trump wins, democracy dies. Simple as that. Democracy dies. I have to work in 6 hours. I shouldn't be fucking explaining this shit to you guys. But it's something that needs said. Something that really, really needs said. I don't know how else I can do this. Vote. Fucking vote. One thing I always hear is that a third-party vote is a wasted vote or a vote for Trump. No, it's not. I'm not saying don't vote third party. Because our main goal in the end is to get Trump out. Of course, Trump needs to get out. This is just the main goal, the overall objective, if you will. But we can do third party next election. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. A little bit of a big brain idea that has been in the leftist community. Settle with Biden. Settle with him. We know that you don't want Biden. We're aware. We're all aware, actually. I think everyone is aware. Biden, kind of cringe, not gonna lie. But Biden is not Trump. You see, we want Trump out. Biden's not Trump. Therefore, we settle with Biden. I know, 200 IQ move right there. Like, honestly, like, it's almost as if politics is about strategy and it's a game. It's almost as if politics is a fucking game. Right? So, yeah, settle with Biden. I don't want this video to be depressing. I want it to be hopeful. Huff on that hopium, you know? I hope that America makes the right decision. I fear, I really, really fear, though, that we won't. But I hope we can just let these last 4 years get behind us. And hopefully, the next 4 years will be awful in their own right, but that America will see what it really needs to fix. And that issue is the two-party system. Two parties are the issue in America right now. Change my mind. They have been for a while. Two parties have fucked America royally. And ironically enough, liberal Democrats have got us where we're at right now. This is the reason. The reason things are fucked up is because of liberals, ironically enough. We need true democratic socialism in America. We will never have a fully socialist state. That's not going to happen. It's just not. And we need to be realistic. We need to be pragmatic and practical. Socialism is just not going to happen in America. Democratic socialism, however, very possibly could happen and would benefit the country so much. So much. But the Republican and Democratic Party just don't, they don't understand that. Both of them don't. And they both think they are the problem. And they are the problem. To be fair, I'm not trying to sound like an enlightened centrist, but they are the problem. They are. And until majority of the bulk of the people can see that they are the problem, two parties are the problem, nothing is going to change. Nothing will change. Things will get worse, and eventually our country will fall. These are realities we have to face. It is what it is, you know? Now on to the normal topic of the Shlama Show experience, psychedelics. I feel like every video we talk about psychedelics. Like, it's as if I think they are some miracle, and they are a miracle. Psychedelics truly are a marvel of a thing. But I think I should address that I'm not trying to push psychedelics onto everybody. They aren't for everybody. I very recently had an experience with someone taking psychedelics. They took about 5 grams of mushrooms for their first trip, which, holy fuck, if, like, what a trip, man. 5 G's of mushrooms is ideally all you should ever, like, that's the max amount you should take for, like, experienced trippers, man. 5 G's of psilocybin mushrooms. That's a lot of mushrooms for those who aren't in the know. That's a lot. Very much a lot. So, for your first trip to take 5 grams, holy fuck. I mean, what a Chad they were. Like, fucking Chad, Ineos Chados Maximus over there, but, like, they had a bad time. as you would expect. They had a real bad time, and I had to give them a Xanax. A benzodiazepine. Benzodiazepines are trip killers, for those who also don't know. So I gave them a Xanax, and I feel bad because they spent $50 on the mushrooms, but it was either that or take them to the hospital. And I was also tripping, not on shrooms, I was on acid. I was also tripping, and I just didn't want to do that. I can't drive. In general, I don't have a license. I wasn't gonna call one of my friends like Carter, the pick. I mean, it's just no, it wasn't worth it. So I gave them a Xanax and just kind of calmed them down. And it made me realize, it gave me like an epiphany that they're not for everybody. I've talked about how they're not for everybody before, but my brain was like, no, everyone should have at least one experience. I redact that statement. They're not for everybody. Psychedelics are very, if you're not in the right mind state, they're very intense. They will fuck you. This ain't like a little weed joint, a weed cigarette you're smoking. Like, no, it is not. You have to be in the right set and setting. And I had a great trip. I was in fucking, like, the 8th dimension talking to Aeneas Chados Maximus himself, with Julius Gaius Caesar right beside me. But, you know, my friend obviously wasn't. I don't want to know what they were seeing. I'm sure I have a general idea of what they were seeing and how they were feeling, but, like, I couldn't imagine. Holy fuck. That shit was probably really intense for him. Sorry, I'm, like, cold and tired. Because I just worked 11 to 7. I gotta be in at 3 p.m. today. So, yeah, psychedelics aren't for everybody. Or at least huge doses aren't. I still think that everyone, with the right set and setting, and with a trip sitter, and maybe even a therapist, should at least have one experience. In the ideal setting where you're not going to have a bad time, everyone should have at least one experience. But this just goes as a lesson that you have to have that ideal setting. You have to be in the right mindset. You can't just go in. You have to think before you trip, believe it or not. You can't just, it's not like smoking weed where you can just, do it. No. You have to think. You have to meditate. You have to be aware that shit can and probably will go down. Every time I trip, and I trip a lot more than I should, to be honest. Every time I trip, I walk in straight with that mindset that shit could go down, and I have to be prepared. I have to get myself out of that mindset. And some people don't do that, and that's why they have a bad time tripping. They have that ego death trip or that nightmare trip. And I feel so bad, because psychedelics are such a wonderful thing when in the right context, the right scenario. But they can also be your worst nightmares intensified by the highest amount. And I just feel so sorry for people who have those bad times and just never do it again. Many people have had a bad trip and just like, nope, I'm done. Nope, I can't. I'll never do that again. And it's like, God damn. That's sad. That's, to me at least, that's sad. I understand if you don't want to do it again. That's perfectly fine. That's honestly probably the safest thing you can do. But you don't let a bad bite of some food, or a bad piece of pizza, stop you from eating pizza again, you know? You don't let a bad grape stop you from eating grapes again. I don't know. But yeah, my friend, fucking Chad, um, what a fucking Chad. I don't know what he was thinking. 5Gs on his first trip. Jesus Christ. It took me like a couple trips to get to the amount of 5G. Because that is a huge, like, that's a lot of mushrooms. You gotta be aware. Like, ideally, though, you want to take 5Gs in, like, cold, like, the darkest room you have in silence. Because, like, according to Terence McKenna, at least, Terence McKenna is, like, one of the founding fathers on Mount Rushmore of, like, psychedelics. Like, basically, one of the big boys when it comes to psychs. It would be, like, Timothy Leary, Terence McKenna, Dennis McKenna, fucking... who else? Aldous Huxley's, Hunter S. Thompson, like, the big boys, you know, like, the fucking founding father, like, the Mount Rushmore. I use founding fathers weird, because, like, they're not the guys who, like, invented it or anything, but they're, like, the big boys. But according to him, like, 5Gs and, like, dark silence, which I've done, and it's super intense, like astral projections and everything. That's what my friend was trying to go for, and he told me like to be in the other room just in case shit went down. And that's, for some people, that's like, people, not, your trip sitter doesn't have to be like right next to you, you know. So I was in the other room reading a book. I was actually reading The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley, a really good book, about his experience with mescaline. And I heard him just freaking out, like flipping his couch and shit, like couch cushions. And I was like, "Yo, are you good?" And he just was speaking gibberish, like the language of the gods was, like, the Anunnaki language was the only thing I could describe it as. So I was like, shit, things are going sour real quick. I made sure he was still, he was breathing, and I just gave him a Xanax. I was like, fuck this. Because I was starting to have a bad time. I was starting to freak out. I was at my peak of my trip, and he obviously was as well. So I was like, yep, you're getting some Xannies. And he's like, I don't want to. I don't want, like, no, you don't have a choice. I was like, I straight up told him, we either go to the hospital or I give you this Xanax. And he thought about it for a minute. He thought about it for what seemed like hours. But it was in reality, like a few minutes. And he's like, give me this Xanny. And I'm like, aight, cool. I'm like, here you go. I gave him it, and we just watched the Eric Andre show. So I hope that if you're listening to this, I hope you are safe. I hope you learned your lesson, man. So yeah. Don't take too much psychedelics, or you'll have a bad time. Moral of the story. And also, fucking vote, you know. America's fate is decided on who runs our country, so fucking vote. And with that, I'm probably going to be going to sleep. I love y'all. Have a good one.